Good evening. Welcome to the lounge. How's everybody doing tonight? Uh, so the content I'm gonna do today, we're going to talk about, does society really care about men? Now, how I came up with that topic was kind of interesting because it was something that was long said that I've been thinking about for a while, and I presented it for a few people a while ago. However, it was very dismissed. So I said, like part of society norms. You look at the court systems, you look at um, homelessness, how homelessness is treated, and things of that nature. So you look around, you see those society norms, but then because everything's been about Diddy and everywhere you turn around, there's a little bit of Diddy news. You can't escape it. People coming out from 80 years ago when Diddy's only 52 and trying to say Diddy did whatever. Not here for all of that, but as this case is getting bigger and we understand that the news cycle is just being a news cycle. There was another case that got very little it got a little bit of press, but it seemed like not a lot. So the guy's name is Mike Jeffries. Now, majority of us don't know who he is. He was the former CEO of Albion I'm never gonna say that shit right. Abercrombie and Finch, which I'm gonna refer as AF for short because that's the initials. So he was the former CEO, and he pretty much was charged with the same stuff that Diddy was charged, right? So of course, when we he, the difference is he got bail. So that's what got everybody going. That's what made everybody kind of say, "Oh, well, what the hell is this?" He's an older white guy because he's in his 80s. Oh, he's an older white guy, and he got $10 million bail for the same stuff Diddy did, and he tried to put up 50 million, and he got denied. And so, with the last shorter video I did, I said I wanted to look into it because maybe there's some difference, there's some nuances, and there's things that we don't know. So I said let's be fair. Let's attack it that way. So I started reading about a few things with him and everything like that. And the first things first, he's 80 years old. So if they gave him no bail, the way prison conditions are, he probably went ahead. He probably would have been sick and died before trial. So that's part of it. And then the other part is he's part of the community. This is YouTube, so we know what community we're talking about. So the majority of his victims are male, no female victims whatsoever. Now in Diddy's situation, majority of his victims are female. I mean, you have minors too, and my disclaimer with the minors, we don't rock with that here. We don't subscribe to that. So I'm just putting them off to the side for a millisecond just to show, proving my point how society doesn't care about men. So if you're arresting this guy for the trafficking and all the same stuff that you're arresting Diddy for, but you let him go outside the age part, what makes you think he's not going to potentially get other men and all of that stuff? Because if he's arrested and prosecuted for it and the victims are male, then shouldn't they be protected? I mean, that's just a question I pose, I guess, to the internet. And, but, as far as in, like I said, Diddy's situation, majority of his victims are female. So, and everybody's calling him a monster, a predator, blah, blah, blah. like I said, we're not talking guilt or innocence now. We're just taking those cases and looking at the situation for what it is, you know. And it made me kind of reinforce that. I'm like, wow, they really don't care about the men, whether you're part of the community or you're not. If you are a man, identify as a man, society doesn't care about you. They don't. They tell you man up and pull from the bootstraps and all of that. And that's the it's a harsh truth that us as men have to realize that. We have to understand that society just doesn't care about us. We are a utility because you know the whole situation with Kamala Harris, right? And like I said, tonight we're not really talking policies or anything else like that. Just looking at the dynamic, right? That when I talked about what Obama said and things of that nature. And you had videos where women were angry. They were angry that the men felt the way they did, and they kind of in some circles, some people were more extreme than the others, but in some circles they were like, "You have no right to feel this way. You're a man. Shut up and vote how we tell you to vote." That's virtually what they said without necessarily saying it. Like they're saying that for in the black community, they're saying like oh, you want Trump to be your daddy, and the blame, the shaming, and all those kind of tactics. They only care about men when they need us. When they don't need us, women don't care about men on a society level. Because I'm not talking individual level. Because on an individual level, you have some people that they actually care for men. They advocate for men and things like that. So I'm not addressing the individual. I am addressing society. How society placates it as a whole. And what makes it crazy is as more and more as time goes on, it's like in your face. Like it's just so in your face. Because you had men that came out like with the Kamala Harris situation with the Obama and like why should we cater to men? And it's like well, let's not even look at race for a minute. I mean, I'm not looking at statistics right this second, but I would say half the United States is full of men. So why are we not talking about the men? Like just like you want the men to talk about the women, which I feel they should. I feel that that's fair. You got to keep it even, Steven. There's no one side is right and one side is wrong. I'm just pointing out an observation that I have noticed, and what I also noticed, right? And of course, people gonna probably jump out the window and all that stuff. I realize the majority of people that don't like Trump are women, and I found that interesting. And the reason why I found it interesting as an observer per se is because it's it placates to the other things that go on in society. I'm like, wow, you know, and it seems like, and here's the other nuance, right? So you have men that, I'll put it out there and say, you got men out here that try to trick the ladies. Like they'll say something that they feel that you would be like, oh, he's a good guy because he said this and he supports us. It's like, no, he's trying to jump in your pants. That's what he's trying to do. They don't agree with that shit. Not for nothing. Half these guys don't even agree with what you guys say. They don't. And that's coming from a guy. We don't. half the time we're like, oh, what's this chick talking about? This is us in our head. What is this chick talking about? I just wish she shut the hell up. You know, but that's why they do that. So when you find men doing that, it's disingenuous, you know, and and I feel it's disingenuous because it's like you're not being honest with yourself. You know, like um, you're doing things for the wrong reason. You're doing things for the wrong reason. You're not doing it to how we would say back in the day, keep it real. You know, that's to me that it's messed up. Like we do have to um, we have to do better as a people as far as taking taking care of everybody the best way that we can. Like, you know, I'm the biggest component of taking care of the children. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. The children should be taken care of. Period. End of discussion. There's no real discussion about that because you got some monsters out here. You do, and you know how that goes. So the children should be protected all around. Period. End of discussion. But it also made me think too, right? So if the men are taking care of the women and and the men are upset because the women don't take care of the man in reverse, should we just start taking care of ourselves? You know, and that's more of a thought question, like not really answering that. These are just thoughts that I thought about because like when you talk about race relations and how there's not a lot of minorities with a lot of bunch of money and this and that, and it's like, well, why don't you build your own so you don't have to rely on somebody? You don't have to rely on somebody to take care of you. Be self sufficient. Because as a kid, as growing up, I was, for the most part, I was always taught self sufficiency. You know, like I'll never forget my mom. If she ever saw this, she'll probably laugh, and she might not even remember it because it was that long ago. She had me in the kitchen, right? And this had to be early mid '90s. That shows you how long ago it was. It had to be like early mid '90s. She turned around and said, "Well, boy, get in here and learn how to cook, peel these potatoes and all that. Cause you know why? Cause ain't no woman gonna cook for you. So you better learn how to feed yourself. You know, like I was doing laundry at the age of like 9, 10. I was working by 14. I mean, and my life circumstance might be different. You know, and like I always told you, my sister is one of my biggest components, so she's probably gonna see this video and she's gonna know. We were taught to be self sufficient because we was always told nobody else is gonna take care of you than you. Right? So if that's my foundation of how I came up and my upbringing, if you will, why couldn't that apply to anything else? So, see, even though I pointed out these things that I said early in the video, why not introduce that? If somebody else is not going to take care of you, you got to take care of yourself. And it's like, how about we do that? But then here's where the complexity comes in. If that's a word, if it's not a word, I just made it up. Complexity. There you go. Don't have a definition yet. But it's like if we do that, then we'll be perceived as selfish and sexist. Because it could be both sides too. Women could just decide to take care of themselves and not worry about the men. And hey, as far as me as an individual, that's fine. Do you. Do what you got to do. As long as it don't interfere with what I got to do and get done, and it don't mess with me and mine, I don't care what you do, because you're grown, you're an adult. But I did pose that question. What if men said, you know what? Let's just stop taking care of the women. How about we just do what we want and handle our business? Do what we're supposed to do. Like living right. I'm not saying going out here and be a fool. But what if the men actually say, you know what? We're gonna we're gonna do this. We're gonna do that, and then that kind of stuff. Now, like I said, society, because I am speaking to the society abroad. People will hit the comment sections like, "Oh, that sounds crazy. That sounds anarchy," and I have dark humor, so sometimes I always joke around and say, "You know what? We need a little purge sometimes. Just a little bit. Just to show the appreciation of what we really have, because I don't think we appreciate America as a whole. I really don't think we do. We don't realize the freedoms that we have. Like, for an example, when I went to Puerto Rico, right? The first time I went with my family. It was a roots trip, and it was very cool because I met great uncles. I found out things about distant cousins I didn't know about, so it was interesting. And shout out to my aunt and uncle for bringing me the first time. If they get to watch this, they and they're actually the family historians on my mom's side of the family. They get all the cool things of that nature, and we are able to engage in conversation. So we were talking to my uncle's childhood friend in Puerto Rico. She lives out in Puerto Rico. We were sitting out back and having a cafecito and pan, you know. And because I never been, I asked about the politics, right? So Puerto Rico is a commonwealth, so most people get that confused. So they, they elect their own locally, because I'm talking more locally, not the governor. The governor of Puerto Rico would be the equivalent to the president, and I believe that's chosen through Washington. That's something different. Don't quote me on it. Don't jump down my neck. But I was focused more on local politics, and you know what they do? Whatever party is in the next election is automatically the next party. Automatically. There's no real, like, you can vote, but you're only voting with the party that wasn't in office. So in other words, they flip flop every time. So locally, you have somebody that's doing something and it's in a good direction for that town or that Providence or that Campo, and automatically somebody else goes in and they undo everything, and then they bring it. That shit is crazy. Now imagine if that happened in America. That, like, so we'll do a scary thing, right? Let's just say that was the same. We had that same politics that the local level of Puerto Rico has. Imagine, so you have a Democrat in office now, so it would automatically be Republican the next election, and your president would have been whoever won that primary in that party and only exclusive to that party. That's a scary thought. Even whatever my political beliefs are, that's still a scary thought. Because guess what? Once that term is up, you automatically got to do the same thing for the primary in the other party, and that's not right. I don't, and that could have changed because at that time when I went to Puerto Rico, it was a while ago. So that could have changed. Like, it could be something different now, but that's how it was explained to me. So I'm just telling the story how it was explained to me. And I thought to myself, I said, well, damn, thank God I'm in America where you can choose whoever candidate you feel, no matter what party it is. Like, you're relegated to pick somebody within that party. And that's what I mean. Like, that's a scary thing. We don't realize how good we have it, and throughout the years, and that I'm not saying that America is perfect and all that stuff. I'm not saying that, right? I like I like what Chris Rock said. It was the funniest thing, but I hold a lot of truth to it. He said, "America is like the uncle that taught you but paid your way through college," and I laugh because it's like, ugh, because that's how America does feel for depending on where you stand, things like that. So but I said, damn, I really did imagine. What if we as men just take care of the men? Think about how scary that is. You know, as a society, as a whole, like men are taken for granted. The things that we do, like I said, we're not perfect, but on your basic human being level, like for an example, you know, no man wants to see a woman hurt or unalived and all that stuff and things like that, right? Fundamentally, of course. But if it happens to a man, it's like, oh, all right, yeah, whatever. It's like I feel we should have the same care for everybody all around, no matter who. No matter who we are, we just have to take care of each other as human beings, because that's pretty much the basis of my message here. Excuse me, because like I said, going back to that court case real quick, when I saw that court case and looked at it from who were the victims, that's what made me wanted to talk about this topic, because I'm like, wow, like even even living alternative lifestyles or whatever y'all want to call it. I'm not even trying to tiptoe through tulips to put that. It's just they're still human beings, and yeah, I mean those are my thoughts about these things. So I got more shorts coming for you. I need you to like, subscribe, comment. Let's keep this train going. Uh, got a special video for you guys. Probably, probably next Friday. Next Friday is going to be a special video, you know. And with that being said, stay tuned. Have a good night.